Hi, this is Jacqueline, and you are watching another episode of Sac N Gaged. Many of you guys know I'm a local realtor who helps people buy and sell homes. But today I'm going to help you come up with a game plan to make sure that your home gets passed down to your future generations to come. Let's go and find out how. All right, Colin, so let's talk about stuff that no one likes to talk about, the estate planning and will. So tell me why it's so important.
Well, you're planning for the inevitable, essentially.
Right.
Everybody is going to die, and proper planning should be taking place, obviously, before that happens.
Yeah.
In the state of California, without having proper planning, it can be very expensive. So as a general rule of thumb, in the state of California, you're subject to probate if you meet one of two thresholds. One of those is ownership of real estate. The second is assets valued over $150,000 in your name when you pass away. So generally speaking, if you own a house, yes, your estate is going to go through probate, regardless of whether there's a mortgage or not. Whenever I give a presentation or a talk, the one thing I tell people is, if you're going to take one thing away from this, just remember that a will does not avoid probate.
But what are all the components of a proper estate plan?
So generally, a full estate plan is going to be your advanced healthcare directive, your power of attorney, your will, and your living trust. The power of attorney and the healthcare directive, those are the documents that go into effect during your lifetime, but you're incapacitated. So you're trusting somebody to make those decisions for you, whether it's a medical or financial decision. Once you pass away, then your will and trust come into place, and you appoint who's in charge of your trust and who inherits upon your death. I've gotten calls from people that actually have said, you know, my mom just got diagnosed with dementia, can we come get her estate plan done? And it's kind of a laughable comment.
Right.
You just told me your mom is incapacitated. So in that case, you know, your mom would not have legal capacity to create an estate plan.
Let's talk about this little tidbit, because a lot of times people don't know, but when I sell them a house, I see many homes title is not put in a trust. And what happens there, Colin?
So that's correct. So that's what happens when you find people that do stuff themselves. They may find a living trust template off the internet, or they might find a living trust from Susie Orman, for example. But you still need to title the house in the name of the trust. Having the trust document just sitting there is not good enough. So I generally am able to charge a flat fee for all of my estate plans, so the clients know exactly what that cost is going to be. Generally speaking, depending on the complexity, a full estate plan, meaning your powers of attorney, your healthcare directive, your will, your living trust, and making sure all the assets are controlled by the living trust, generally the fee is going to be between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on the complexity.
One big takeaway we should give for everyone watching.
Well, I always say that failing to plan is planning to fail. A lot of times people will, defer, delay as long as possible. Everybody needs an estate plan. I hate to use the term everybody, but everybody really does.
Right. This is Sac N Gaged, and I want to know, what do you love about Sacramento?
It's just been great watching Sacramento grow up with downtown, with the resurgence of the Kings, K Street, R Street, now Broadway, and the food scene is fantastic.
All right, so where do we like to go to eat these days?
Favorite restaurant is probably still One Speed in East Sacramento for the pizza.
I hope you found today's episode informative. To find out more information about Colin and his estate planning services, check out my website, gagegrouprealty.com, and go under the blog section to see this video and all his information. Stay tuned for another episode of Sac N Gaged.